The year is 1566. The air hangs thick and heavy with the acrid smoke of gunpowder and the scent of burning wood. We are on a battlefield in Hungary, before the walls of Szigetvár castle. Here, amidst the chaos of war, one of history's most powerful rulers is breathing his last. This is the story of Suleiman the Magnificent's final campaign. Welcome, history lovers. Today, we're journeying back to a pivotal moment in the 16th century, a moment that marked the end of an era for the mighty Ottoman Empire. We're talking about the Siege of Szigetvár, a brutal and costly conflict that would become the final act in the extraordinary life of a legendary sultan. So, who was Suleiman the Magnificent? Born in 1494, he ascended to the Ottoman throne in 1520 and presided over the empire's golden age. His 46-year reign was the longest of any Ottoman sultan. He was a brilliant military strategist, a just lawgiver known as the lawgiver, or kanuni, in his own lands, and a grand patron of the arts and architecture. Under his command, the Ottoman Empire expanded its borders deep into Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. By the 1560s, Suleiman had led 13 major military campaigns, personally commanding his armies from the front. But time catches up with everyone, even the Magnificent. In 1566, Suleiman, now 71 years old, and plagued by gout and other ailments, decided to embark on one last campaign. His target was the Habsburg monarchy, a persistent rival. The specific objective became the small but strategically important fortress of Szigetvár, in southern Hungary. Why Szigetvár? The fortress was commanded by a Croatian-Hungarian nobleman named Nikola Zrinski, a fierce and defiant opponent of Ottoman expansion. Zrinski's raids on Ottoman territory had become a thorn in the Sultan's side, and Suleiman was determined to crush this resistance once and for all. In the summer of 1566, a massive Ottoman army, numbering around 100,000 men, marched toward Szigetvár. At its head, carried in a litter, was the aging Sultan. The journey itself was arduous, a testament to Suleiman's iron will. He was too ill to ride a horse, but his presence was non-negotiable. His very being was a symbol of Ottoman power, a source of morale for his troops. As they arrived at Szigetvár in early August, the full scale of the challenge became clear. The fortress was defended by a mere 2,500 soldiers, but they were led by the indomitable Zrinski, and were prepared to fight to the last man. The siege began. For over a month, the Ottoman cannons pounded the walls of Szigetvár. The air was filled with the constant roar of artillery and the desperate cries of battle. The Ottoman sappers, expert miners, dug tunnels beneath the fortress walls, planting explosives to create breaches. The defenders fought back with incredible bravery, repelling multiple assaults and inflicting heavy casualties on the much larger Ottoman force. Inside the Ottoman camp, frustration grew. The summer heat was oppressive, supplies were dwindling, and disease was spreading. The quick victory they had anticipated was turning into a grinding, bloody stalemate. Now, let's paint a picture of the scene on September 7th, 1566. This is the critical moment. Imagine the Sultan's grand tent, a pavilion of gold-embroidered silk, pitched on a rise overlooking the battlefield. Before it, Suleiman lies not in a bed of state, but on a field stretcher. He's propped up by deep purple pillows, the color of imperial authority, but also a somber foreshadowing of death. He is frail, his face etched with the lines of age, illness, and the immense fatigue of his long life. Around him is his inner circle. There is Sakalu Memda Pasha, his Grand Vizier, a man of immense political skill who is essentially running the empire. We might also imagine his son, the future Sultan Selim, though his presence is historically debated. Physicians and religious scholars stand by, their faces a mixture of concern and helplessness. On the ground, a detailed map of Hungary is spread out, a symbol of the empire's ambitions, now resting at the feet of its dying architect. Suleiman's gaze is fixed on the fortress. Szigetvár is now a vision of hell. Its towers are engulfed in flames, black smoke billowing into the sky. In the foreground, Ottoman artillery units continue their relentless bombardment through a gaping breach in the outer walls, created by the sappers' explosives. His elite Janissary troops are pouring in for the final assault. The distant sound of clashing swords and desperate prayer chants carries on the wind. It's a moment of immense tension, an oppressive atmosphere, where the promise of victory is tangled with the finality of death. We see the details. A jeweled sword rests by his side, a relic of his once unmatched martial prowess. We see his aged hands, the veins prominent, a testament to the weight of time and the burden of rule he has carried for nearly half a century. And then, the focal point. Suleiman raises a trembling hand. It's a simple gesture, but it carries the weight of an entire empire. It is the order for the file, decisive push. In his eyes, we see not just the weariness of a dying man, but a flicker of the old determination that conquered kingdoms. But here's the crucial secret, the twist that makes this moment so extraordinary. By the time this final assault took place, Suleiman the Magnificent was already dead. He had passed away in his tent during the night between September 6th and 7th. Sokoyu Mehmed Pasha, the brilliant Grand Vizier, made a decision of staggering audacity. He decided to conceal the Sultan's death. Why? The morale of the Ottoman army was already fragile. News of the Sultan's death before the fortress was taken could have caused the army to disintegrate. The siege would have failed, and the succession of Prince Selim could have been thrown into chaos. So, Sokoyu Mehmed Pasha orchestrated a grand deception. He informed only his most trusted confidants. The Sultan's physicians were sworn to secrecy, and some accounts say they were even executed to ensure their silence. The routine of the Sultan's camp continued as if nothing had happened. Orders were issued in his name. His food was taken into his tent. His personal guards stood watch. To the army, their magnificent leader was still with them, watching from his tent as they fought for his glory. This charade gave the troops the final push they needed. Believing their Sultan was witnessing their valor, they fought with renewed ferocity. On September 8th, seeing that all was lost, Nikola Zrinski and his remaining few hundred soldiers launched a final, suicidal charge out of the castle. They fought to the death, a heroic last stand that would enter Hungarian and Croatian national legend. Szigetvár had fallen. The Ottoman flag was raised over the smoking ruins. The campaign was a success. Sokoyu Mehmed Pasha's deception continued for an incredible 48 days. He kept the Sultan's body preserved and managed the long, slow retreat of the army back towards the capital Istanbul. He sent a secret messenger to Prince Selim, informing him of his father's death and urging him to secure the throne. Official announcements of victory were sent out in Suleiman's name. It was only when the army was close to the capital and Selim's secession was secure that the Grand Vizier finally announced the truth. The empire mourned its greatest sultan, but a crisis had been averted. The Siege of Szigetvár is a story filled with powerful symbols. The burning castle represents both the destructive power of conquest and the end of an obstacle. The flocks of storks that observers noted circling the sky can be seen as a symbol of migration, of a great soul departing, and of changing seasons for the empire. Suleiman's aged hands clutching at the remnants of power, the map of his final conquest at his feet at S. All a powerful metaphor for a life at its end, an empire at its zenith. This moment was more than just the death of a man. It was the end of an era. While the Ottoman Empire would remain a major world power for centuries, the period of its most rapid and relentless expansion, largely driven by Suleiman's personal ambition and genius, was over. The 46-year reign that had seen the empire reach its peak had concluded in smoke and secrecy on a Hungarian battlefield. The magnificent century had come to a close. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the most dramatic moments of history. Let us know in the comments what you think about Suleiman's final campaign and Sokoyu Mehmed Pasha's incredible secret. We'll see you in the next video.